All right, what's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. Today we're talking about Alabama new head coach Kalen Deboer and what that impact will be on Jalen Milroe, how that combination of Deboer and Milroe's game will kind of combine and what that could potentially look like. We'll also take a look at DeBoer's history in his previous stops and how he's developed quarterbacks. He has a really good just track record of developing quarterbacks and being able to adjust the style and the philosophy of his offense to the quarterback's game. So we're going to talk about that, and we'll kind of hit on just the overall impact of DeBoer. And I know as of now, it seems like Grubbs, the offensive coordinator at Washington, is now going to be the OC at Alabama. So we'll talk about that too, maybe in another video. But for today, the sake of today's video, DeBoer, his history, what his offense could potentially look like, and the impact that it could have on Jalen Milroe. If this is your first time tuning in to the QB Spotlight channel, we sincerely thank you. We're just a big quarterback hub. We talk all things quarterbacks, specifically quarterbacks in the SEC or anything related to quarterbacks in the SEC, from film breakdowns to storylines, whatever it may be. We try to keep a firm kind of grasp on what's going on in the quarterback field in the SEC. But we also have a podcast, season 2, coming up. We bring on former and current quarterbacks in college, pros, and they kind of come and talk about their experience. And we bring coaches as well. Just anyone related to the quarterback position, we bring on. That's all fair game, all college, all pro. Anything counts there. So with that said, I guess before I keep going into it, like, share, subscribe if you like that type of content. Let's dive into Kalen Deboer and kind of talk about what this could look like for Alabama and what his history has been. If I had to look at all of DeBoer's quarterbacks that he's coached since Fresno State, I know he was at Eastern Michigan, and then of course Sioux Falls, or the NAIA school before. But let's look from Fresno State, so I guess like 17, 18 through now. Fresno State through now. Every quarterback he's coached has taken their game to the next level. They've gotten better, they've improved, they've developed. Each year they built on the previous year. And so he's been able to take those tools that these quarterbacks have had and been able to improve upon them. From Peyton Ramsey at Indiana, when he was the OC, from Marcus McMaryion, when he was the OC at Fresno State, the quarterback, Michael Penix, Jake Haener, the list goes on. Let's hit on those real quick before we kind of talk about what offensively he wants to do as a offensive coordinator or just a play caller now as a head coach. So at Fresno State, he was offensive coordinator and quarterback coach from 2017 to 2018. Marcus McMaryion was the quarterback that he coached. He was someone I was really high on. We did a lot of group of 5 type of quarterback content, and Marcus McMaryion was one of the best quarterbacks in the group of 5 in the Mountain West then. So from 2017 to 2018, he made a really big jump. From 2017, he went from 2,700 yards passing to 3,600 yards passing. His touchdowns went from 14 to 25. His interceptions stayed the exact same. So his interception or touchdown to interception ratio went from right under 3 to 1 in 2017 to 5 to 1 in 2018 in one full year of DeBoer's offense, DeBoer coaching him up. And his yards per attempt also went from 7.8 to 8.5. Remember the yards per attempt, because we're going to get into DeBoer's offense pushing the ball downfield. That's Marcus McMaryion, the quarterback at Fresno State, and his improvement with DeBoer as the head coach. We go on to Indiana in 2019 when he was the OC. 2019, he's offensive coordinator, right? So rewind to 2018, before he got there, they were number 10 in the Big Ten. Indiana was number 10 in the Big Ten in passing yards. Peyton Ramsey had 19 touchdowns through the air, 13 interceptions, 2,800-ish yards passing, and 6 yards per attempt. Okay, all pretty pedestrian, kind of mediocre stuff. Not horrible by any means, but nothing that's going too shockingly, right? So DeBoer comes in, he's the OC, and Peyton Ramsey ended up being the guy most of the year. Michael Penix played a lot that year too. I think he got hurt maybe that year, so it was Penix and Peyton Ramsey. But they go from being 10th in passing to being number 4 in total offense in the Big Ten. I'm sorry, so they were number 10 in total offense in the Big Ten. In 2018 to 2019, they become number 4 in total offense in the Big Ten. And they go from throwing right over 2,800 yards passing to 3,900-ish yards passing, which was number 2 in the Big Ten in passing yards. The yards per attempt went from 6 to 8.2, or right around there. And that was a combination of Ramsey and Penix. But still, in 1 year in that offense, the yards per attempt went up by like 2. Passing yards went up by over 1,000, or right about 1,000. And they went to being the second best passing team in all of the Big Ten. They also had 24 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So passing touchdowns went up by 5, interceptions went down by 4. Great job there. Going to Fresno State, we kind of let's exclude the COVID year. He was the first year head coach at Fresno State in 2020. 2021 though, let's look at Jake Haener, the quarterback. They went 9-3. Haener had over 4,000 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, 9 picks, 8.4 yards per attempt. Again, that's a good yards per attempt, pushing the ball downfield, and Haener became a 4th round pick. After that, that's when he got his first head coaching job at Washington, and that's the past 2 years is kind of what has gotten DeBoer the head coaching position at Alabama. Him and Michael Penix, right? Michael Penix, known to push the ball downfield, big arms. The only time that Penix was so I know he has a big arm, but the only time that Penix had yards per attempt average of over 8 was when DeBoer was the head coach or the OC. Whenever Penix was at Indiana, his yards per attempt were above 8. Whenever DeBoer was gone, I think it was below 7. I think it was in the 6 range whenever he was the quarterback in Indiana. Comes to Washington, yards per attempt over 8 the entire time with DeBoer. Washington's past 2 years. And this is obviously the most obvious example of improving a quarterback and developing a quarterback. Now, Penix had the tools, he had the skills, but a coach like DeBoer is able to get it all out of him. So in 2 years, Penix had over 9,500 yards passing, 67 passing touchdowns, 19 picks, 65% completion percentage, and had 8.6 yards per attempt. So almost 9, pushing the ball downfield, was accurate, took care of the ball. Just a good quarterback that fit that system perfectly, because Coach DeBoer is able to make that system fit the quarterback, which is really important. So he had 2 really good seasons back-to-back years, right? So takeaway, quarterbacks are being developed, quarterbacks are being improved each season, and quarterbacks are better in his system than they are when they were outside the system, right? That's what we got so far. So DeBoer's offense, what does DeBoer's offense look like? Well, we'll get to this in a second, but what he said in his press conference the other day, or being interviewed, he said, and when asked about his offense, he said concepts and systems that can be adjusted to what we have and what our strengths are. I guess I should have said quotation marks beginning and end. But basically that tells me it's an adaptable offense that he kind of surrounds, or he makes fit on the players, as opposed to trying to make a player fit his offense. He makes the offense fit his players. So let's look at what they did at Washington. So I think number one of the most obvious things is they want to push the ball downfield. Michael Penix had 51 completions where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more downfield. That led all of FBS by more. I think the next closest quarterback had like 40. So he had 11 more completions of those type of passes. So they want to push the ball downfield. They don't necessarily deke and dunk per se, right? They only had 17% of their passes were behind the line of scrimmage. So if you want to compare that, like Oregon had 28% of their passes were behind the line of scrimmage, or their completions were behind the line of scrimmage. So they want to push the ball downfield. But with that said, the scheme design is they still use the underneath concepts to set up these plays downfield. So they want to push the ball downfield, one, but they create opportunities and they create potential plays by underneath concepts, getting the ball out quick when they take their shots. Also, it helps when you have 3 first-round picks, not first-round picks, but 3 NFL guys at the receiver position. So they ask their quarterbacks to make plays, to make throws. They ask the receivers to make plays as well. And looking deeper at the numbers, I wasn't surprised per se, but I thought they would have a little bit more play action that they use. They don't rely on play action to take deep shots. They use it strategically, and they should. They want to get the run game going as well. They had the number 2 rusher in the Pac-12 this past year, so they don't neglect the run game. They want to get the run game going so they can build on top of that, and they use play action strategically. But traditionally, they ask quarterbacks to make reads, make big-time throws. Like Penix, a lot of his completions were just straight drop back and chunking the ball downfield. Not chunking, but just making really good throws and asking his receivers to make really good throws. So out of all of Penix's passes in 2023, 31% were off play action. The rest were straight drop back, which compared to a lot of successful college quarterbacks, a lot of college quarterbacks use play action to set up their success, which isn't bad by any means, right? Play action gets defenders out of position, it can create confusion, and it can help the quarterback with the read. Where if you drop straight back and you don't have that play action to assist you, it can be a little tougher on the quarterback. But Penix did great there, right? That's why they asked the quarterback to do a lot in his offense. If you want to compare like Penix compared to other pretty higher end quarterbacks in college football this year, again, Penix had 31% of his passes were off play action. Quinn Ewers, 50% of his passes were off play action. Dylan Gabriel, 52% of his passes were off play action. Again, nothing wrong about either of those. It's just a difference in the offense, right? They asked the quarterback to make a lot of plays. Yeah, play action some, but straight drop back, make a read, deliver a good ball. So I think it's kind of a perfect blend to develop a quarterback like DeBoer's offense. Kind of to finish the sense of what his offense has been historically or traditionally. They want to get the run game going to assist the pass game, but they're going to ask their quarterback to make some big throws. They're going to ask the receivers to make some big plays. They're going to push the ball downfield. They want to do it a lot. They want to do it often, but they're not going to neglect the underneath game. They're not going to neglect the underneath kind of passing scheme as they push the ball downfield, right? Play action is used strategically, but they're going to ask their quarterback to make some big throws. So that leads us to the combination of Jalen Milroe and Kalen Deboer, which I think is going to be a perfect combination. I'm really excited for this combination. I know there's been a bunch of stuff on Twitter, people saying different things, but I'm excited to see this because we get a quarterback who I think does a lot of things well that DeBoer likes in his quarterback, and then we have DeBoer, who I think is able to develop some things that maybe can help take Jalen Milroe's game to the next level. Like going back to a quote we said earlier, something that DeBoer said at his press conference or being interviewed, he said about his offensive system, quote from DeBoer, concepts and systems that can be adjusted to what we have and what our strengths are, end quote. I think the big thing there is systems that can be adjusted to what they have, right? So we have Jalen Milroe, we have these other weapons, like now we can develop it around him. So if we look at Milroe, his yards per attempt were 10 last year. So we know they like to push the ball downfield. Milroe's strength was push the ball downfield. Boom, great combination there. Only 6 interceptions. He took care of the ball while pushing it downfield. His improvement area is underneath routes and underneath concepts, kind of the easier throws, if you will. We all know Milroe has a big arm. We all know that he developed last year a lot throughout the season, some clutch throws. I mean, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in all college football. But I think the improvement area is these kind of underneath type throws and schemes that DeBoer I think can come in and develop and combine there. The big play threat is there obviously with Milroe. So you want to build in these concepts. Also, 69% of his passes were not on play action. So he was doing a lot of straight drop back throwing as well. So that fits DeBoer's offense too. I think Milroe did a better job reading defense than probably give him credit for. There's a lot of traits that DeBoer will like from Milroe. He develops Milroe, but also I think Milroe gives DeBoer an advantage as an offensive mind, because now you have this element of elite athleticism at the quarterback position that you can be a bit more creative with that maybe you weren't in the past. Penix is a good athlete, but he's not Milroe. Hayner, a good athlete, not Milroe. The quarterback Marcus McMaryion, from Fresno State, good athlete, not Milroe. Milroe is always going to be one of the best athletes on the field. So you combine what Milroe does well with what DeBoer wants to coach, and then you combine Milroe's elite athleticism. I think there's even more room to build in that offense. Now, once Grubb's officially announced, maybe we'll do a deeper dive in his offense, but there's obviously a lot of tendencies and influence in Grubb's offense from DeBoer. So I think you can kind of, this offense is a maybe refined offense in DeBoer's offense. I think you're going to add some creativity, but I think it could be a perfect blend of DeBoer and Jalen Milroe. But regardless, I'm super excited to see what happens. I just wanted to get on and give a quick kind of breakdown of DeBoer's history, his offensive philosophy as of the past few years, and then the combination of Jalen Milroe and DeBoer's offensive mind, play calling system in general. So with that said, Bama fans, SEC fans, if y'all like this video or any comments, please comment below, like the video. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think DeBoer and Milroe, how is that kind of combination going to be? What do you think needs to happen from DeBoer, from Milroe? Regardless, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, if you like SEC quarterback content, please consider subscribing. And we'll also have our season 2 of the podcast will be starting in about probably less than a month. And we'll be having weekly to bi-weekly interviews of quarterbacks, coaches, all coming on the show and talking about their experiences. So with that said, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.